Hey everybody, and welcome to Hex Token channel. Your host Superman in the house. A big welcome, and I've got the glow on. Pulsechain Testnet V3 glow. That's what's happening here, folks. Pulsechain Testnet V3 glow is on. Did I say flow? It's the flow glow. It is flowing, and I hope you guys are having a good time. I hope you guys are getting out there testing it. Now, this is my standard live stream today. We're doing standard live stream, but we've got tons of Pulsechain updates. So stay tuned for all that. I'm going to be doing 2 live streams today. Later on, I will be doing a Pulsechain Testnet V3 for beginners. So we'll be going through everything that we know of at this stage, and maybe we might even have PulseX and the official bridge up with the US dollar prices. So price discovery, that'll be later on in the day. So 2 live streams today. It is our standard one. We'll be covering obviously stock market, crypto, Hex, Hedron, and then getting into all the Pulsechain updates halfway through. So stay tuned for that, because you don't want to miss that. We're also obviously going to get into a lot of stuff. So there's tons of probably 2/3 of the shows on Pulsechain updates, but that's a bit later in the piece. And of course, then we've got the Hex Daily Stats. We're going to get paid, and then we're going to wrap up with something really cool. If you get your wallet compromised, we got there's a solution out there for you. We're going to be covering that on how to pulse. So that's very cool. It looks like they've been testing it, and that's now officially launched. So that's going to be awesome for recovering people, or at least helping them to recover to some degree any compromised wallet. So you can find out about that. Let's go. All right, let's get into it, folks. We've got a good crowd in today, and we're going to get into it all. So let's find out who's here. Piston as well. Looks like a great day in Hexico. It certainly does. And we got Top Chick as well. Dentist appointment. Shame. I hope it doesn't go too painfully there, Top Chick, and you get that nice, good clean teeth, I guess. Pulse Hexicans in house there for Zcash. We've got Mr. Cypress as well. Yes. And obviously lies beneath in house with the Alpha. Hello all, how are you today? Very, very good. And of course, the ultimate strategy on this channel, and that is the Richard Hart gold standard of crypto. Hex, EHEX, PLS, and PLSX for the win, 100% on that. It is very, very exciting. Let's get into the house. We got Crypto Compassion. Let's go, Hex Token. Absolutely, let's go. We got who else is jumping there? Pudding Guru. Exciting times. Good to see you, Pudding Guru. And of course, we got Rango as well. Happy Friday, all from Rango. Happy Friday indeed. Now, down under here, like Australia, New Zealand, Pacific Islands, it is Friday. I guess if you're still in the Northern Hemisphere, it is still Thursday. But welcome to everybody around the world. Danu's in house there. Woohoo! Hello, Superman and all Hexicans. Happy to be here with you. Let's get some alpha info, says Danu. Hey, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. We're sharing the journey together. It's going to be the ultimate journey to take over crypto. It's going to be a lot of fun. Who else there? Brendan's in house there. Hello, Superman. And family, the system overload is a good sign of big interest in the chain, 100%. Well, you just think about how many people like Richard Hart's tweets on Twitter. And of course, now we've got big influencers like Crypto Banter and Ivan on Tech, and putting out all the good words. So you can imagine it's really going to be absolutely the biggest thing in crypto. It's going to be awesome. Empty Corner in the house as well. Woohoo! Good to see Empty Corner. We've got JB in the house as well. Evening Hex Token. Good to see you, JB. We've got Matt and Bali. Good old Bali, living it up on Bali with the beaches, and Matt's dog, which is cool. Morning all. Good to see you, Matt. Always a pleasure. And Sandy Beach as well with the beach. Loving the beach there as well. I guess, Matt, Bali is a place where you probably have to put on your world tour there, Sandy Beach, is Bali. You have to include that. Harry Williams as well. Yo, yo, yo. Good to see you, Harry. Welcome, everybody. And, of course, let the good times roll, says D. Tucker. Absolutely let it roll. We got Magnus in the house. Good to see you, Magnus. Hey, Superman. Always a pleasure too. Let's jump through some of that. We got Pepe Oliver in the house there. Let's go, folks. Absolutely get excited. That's for sure. Who else? We got Brian in the house. Good to see you, Brian. And of course, KD. Brian's our community lead. Oh, Matt and Barley's just gifted the Hex Token channel membership. Grab into that, folks. Get into that. That is from, man, that's way down there. So a big shout out to Matt and Barley giving away a free membership. Who picked it up? Check My Pulse picked it up. Well done, Check My Pulse. Woohoo! Well done to you. Big shout out there to Matt and Barley. Wow, that was really nice. nice pick up there with the old membership. Now, if you want to join as a member, hit the join button. We've got Pulsekins, Hexkins, and Richard R Club. Just a really easy way of supporting the channel as we live stream on the greatest crypto on the planet. So that's how we roll. Who else is in the house there? We've got Kato Natural. Hey, Superman, good to see you, Kato. We've got QQ as well. Let's go. Let's send it 100%. We've got Wookie in the house, one of our moderators, an all-round funny guy. Wookie, I don't know what you think of that, Wookie. Here, boss. Hey, good to see you, Wookie. Wookie's in the house. And Wookie is our Hedron HSI specialist. So if you have any questions, get into Discord and Wookie can help you out on that. So very, very cool. People are making some pretty good returns with the old HSI Watsa there. What HSI? Yeah, Watsa, yeah. Humberto's in the house as well. Cheers from sunny Miami, crypto capital of the world. Good to see you, Humberto. And Matt says, people enjoy the stream. I like to watch on green days, but just the digs waiting. Got to hit the beach. Nice one there, Matt. Hey, you're in Bali, so there's probably no surprise with that. Charity's in the house as well. Are you ready? Get ready. Yeah, everyone's got to get ready. Richard's put some warnings out there with these Pulsechain updates, so definitely, if you don't heed them, maybe you'll get caught out in the future. It's going to be interesting. Pulse Yoga, what's up, everybody? Good to see Pulse Yoga. Blobfish King says, had a good play with V3. A lot of failed transactions at the start. Liquidity still low. Yeah, that's all. Most of the issues around that liquidity when it just kicks off, which is understandable, right? As people add more liquidity into it, it all kicks off there. And then we get PulseX, the official bridge opening up, but we'll get the USD pairs flooding through. JB as hell, Superman, you got the friendliest mods in the Hex community. We do indeed. They're awesome. Our moderators are absolutely amazing. We've got a great community. I mean, that's what it's all about, is community. Scott Jackson, good morning all. Good to see you, Scott. Who else has jumped in here as well? J-Pon, yo. Good to see you, J-Pon. And, of course, Crypto Dan as well. Exciting times. Can't sleep. Yeah, well, I think a lot of people like that, Crypto Dan. I know that Hodl Dog, I think, was doing some videos, and he was so excited he had to redo some or something like that. So it's pretty funny. Nice to see Hodl Dog back on the field again. Joey Torres, hi all, good to see you, Joey. Oh, Matt says free pintang bears on the beach and free dogs if anyone wants to adopt, says Matt. That's hilarious. All right, nice one there, Matt. We've got Genuine as well. Good morning all, good to see you, Genuine. And I think that's it. We've got Tintop as well. What's up, Tintop? Hey, good to see you. All right, that's the intro, folks. 8 minutes and 30. I think that's pretty good. We've got everybody in the house, so yeah, let's get into it. Let's rock and roll. Let's get into the content. And of course, we're going to start off with the stock market. We're going to briefly run through that. There's not a lot of stuff to talk about there. We're going to jump into crypto after that and move forward at a pretty rapid pace. We're going to get into Pulsechain. It's probably about 2/3 of the update today, so let's get into it. Bam. All right, cool. So here we are. S&P 500 peers gains as regional banks stutter to offset the tech climb there. So let's get into it. More about banks. We've got the Dow Jones Industrials up 0.2% at 75 points, up to 32,105. The S&P 500 at 0.3%, 12 points, up to 3,948. Not quite back over 4,000. The Nasdaq up 1%, so that's where the tech companies really moving. Up 117 points to 11,787, trying to climb back to 12,000 there. The dollar index is up 0.25%. And that is up at 102.24 versus the trading partners. We see globally, we see a lot of we got the X. I don't know if you guys, any of you guys old enough to remember World War II? Do any of you remember that? Were any of you there at the time? Because it looks like we got the Axis of the Axis versus Allies. It looks like we've got the Axis forming at the moment. We've got China over in Russia making deals. And we've got Iran, and we've got, who else is in there? North Korea. They're all aligning to each other. It is a bit of a deja vu there. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that slightly as we moved in about the US dollar. So let's see where the US dollar goes from here. The commodities, of course, we've got the commodities. We've got oil is down. So oil is down, folks. We're down 1.9%. $1.46 on Brent oil, $75. Isn't that cool? And we've got West Texas there. It is down 0.6% there, 43 cents to $69. So that's nice to see the oil pulling off there in terms of the energy. Cheap energy is key to modern society. So it's good to see that. Silver has had a bit of a nice time, hasn't it? Silver is down a little bit at the moment, 0.4%, but it's at $23.16. So it's had a nice little recovery there. And of course, gold is down $1.85, pretty much the same. That's just under $2,000. Can you believe it? But over the last day, it actually got up to $2,005. So it did breach the 2,000. So gold's had a pretty good rally there. So if we look at the last month for gold, we can see it started off at 1833 and it's just got over 2,000. So that's a pretty good run in the short term there for gold. So nice to see that. All right, let's get into it. We've got the S&P 500 paired gains Thursday as regional banks returned to the firing line and energy stocks slipped, offsetting a climb in tech. Obviously, with those oil prices down. First Republic Bank, now we've been talking about this, resumed its wobble. Soaring sentiment on the broader financials as focused return to the health of regional banks. The slip in banks comes even as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Thursday said the government will be willing to step in again if needed to bring stability to the banks. This is really worrisome, troublesome. Normally you would just let banks fail if they're bad banks, or at least if the market's against them, they would fail. But of course, now going to secure the main banks, to secure regional banks, whatever they're going to insure, that sends a really bad message. And technically speaking, only the House, as I understand it, can actually guarantee banks. So there's a little bit of games going on here, but we'll see what happens. That's for sure. We have used important tools to act quickly to prevent contagion, and I guess that's good for the short while with the FDIC there. And they are tools we could use again. Yellen said in a written testimony before the House Appropriations Committee there. So you can decide which side of that you're on, but printing more money and stuff like that is what is the game there. Energy also pushed the market lower. So that is one issue there. The Treasury yields fell again on bets that Fed is likely to pause. This seems to be gaining pace, this cementing in that the Fed's probably either going to do no change or one more interest rate rise in May, which is 5 or 6 weeks away. So we've got a bit of a window opportunity between there too. They eventually pivot sooner rather than later as tighter lending conditions amid stresses in the banking system will help cool inflation. So everyone's banking on this tighter credit conditions at the moment. And of course, they're also up to pull back the ability to spend and push more demand on commodities and services and push the prices up. So that's kind of the play there, is what people are thinking. The Fed hike rates yesterday forecast one more hike this year and ruled out the possibility of cuts, but markets aren't convinced. The odds of a pause at the next meeting jumped to 55% from 31% the prior week, according to investing there as well. Let's see what it is at the moment. So yes, 2 out of 3 people at the moment. Now this moves around a lot, expecting no change for May. Can you believe it? May the 3rd is the next Fed meeting, and that only 35% expecting a 25 basis point rise at this stage. So yep. Now tech did pretty well. We're going to jump through that though, all the way down to on the economic front. Weekly job claims continued to show strength in the labor market, as with economists flagging the ongoing lack of labor supplies. This Fed's trying to trade jobs. Full employment is their goal. They've got full employment and inflation, and they've got a target, which is not in the act, but a target of 2%. And of course, that's on using the PCE indicator. And of course, they've got about 3.5 percentage points difference between that. So it's a bit of hard work to go to get that inflation down. So what are they going to do? They're really boxed in, aren't they, a little bit? And they're also bad at what they do. So you combine those two things, just the way it goes. The bottom line is the labor supply is not increasing in any meaningful way, and there is no evidence that this will change anytime soon. So strong labor market. So Fed's even more trouble there. All right, so that is it. We will see, I think, weakness heading into the end of the year. People still are chiming in for a fourth quarter recession there. And some people, on the hard landing sort of scenario. Some people thinking we'll just have that soft landing. We'll see how we go during the year. It will play out, obviously, if we do enter a recession on jobs and income. So we'll see how that goes. So other than that, Crypto's looking pretty good environment for crypto. A terminal rate almost hit. It might stay out for longer, but of course, people will be looking for good investments, and what's better than crypto, particularly with the bank issue. That's going to affect stock market more than crypto, and crypto is really a good alternative to that system, right? So I think that might bode well for us. All right, cool. Let's get into crypto. Crypto is up 3.86% to 1.2 trillion on the global market cap, so that's pretty nice. Remember, the bull market was up at 3 trillion, so we've got a long way to go if we're going to get back to there. We got Bitcoin, though, is up 3.94%. It is at 28,645, so looking really good for crypto. We've got Ethereum there up almost 5%, 4.8 at $1,841. Nice rebound from yesterday. We've got Tether is pegged. Binance Coin is up 2% to 332. USDC is pegged. And of course, XRP there up 4.8% at 44.7 cents. Hex sitting at number 7. And it's had a bit of volatility. We're going to get into the Hex price. It is down 3.36%. Still sitting over 15 billion on the market cap though. And it's currently showing at 10.79 on Nomics. It will be a bit different on Dex Screener, of course. Cardano is up 2.5% at 37 cents. But the market cap difference between Hex and Cardano is about 2.5 billion or so. So we've got plenty of room there for the time being to hold our position. And Dogecoin there at number 9, up 4.28% at 7.8. And finally, to wrap up our top 10, Polygon up almost 2% there at $1.14. So pretty good there at the top 10. Let's jump into the Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin itself chart there looking pretty good, right? This is the daily on Bitcoin, Coinbase pair, and looking pretty good there at 28,343. This green line up the top here is 30,000, and of course this has been the top of the mark here. I can plausibly see this being breached now. The fact that we're probably heading to a terminal rate at the max at 5.2 based on information we have at the moment. So that's bullish for crypto. And of course, obviously they're going to hold it longer, but maybe they capitulate further down the road. Their forecasts have been wrong for the most part. We saw their new SEP forecast on March yesterday, and of course the last one was December. Remember, we had a 5.1 point midpoint. Now their projections for next year for 24, I don't see them hitting those either. So I think they're going to just have to hope that the credit contraction pulls back the inflation side. Because they're just going to have to wait till hopefully it's more organic as well, because they really are boxed in there. They're all fed. All right, so we're at 28,358 on Bitcoin, looking pretty good, eh? Looking pretty good. We had a golden cross back here. We dipped all the way back down to 19,660. Look at that power move back. I can recently see us consolidating and moving higher here, and maybe we're almost in the scenario of being able to breach the 30K. We breached the 30K, folks. Look at back here on the history. This is our double top that we had. And of course, look at that. We've got the support line here. Bounce is what this yellow line is. Pretty much these supports where we got our support there between the double tops. And of course, we're getting pretty close to breaching that now. That's got to be bullish, right? That's got to be bullish. And of course, with the terminal rate and with this happening, that's got to be pretty bullish to me. So I'm almost at the point of willing to commit that we're almost there. So I think we're, originally it was this 30K, but now this terminal rate, everything's changing. The banks and all that, good chance that we'll breach over this. Man, that's game on, isn't it? Game on for a Bitcoin. Jumping into Hex. Hex had a bit more volatility after having a massive run up, of course. So we're going to get the Hex. I will get back into the comments in a second. Probably get up to Hedron first, and then we'll break for the chat comments there. So pretty cool. We've got Hex at 10.63 cents at the moment. Obviously, after some profit taking last night, I felt it. I saw the price I went to turned in for the evening when the price was up at 12.73, right at the top, and I was like, is that gonna when I wake up tomorrow, is it gonna people gonna sell it off? And what do? They sell it off. Isn't it funny? You get this inkling when you're watching the chart all the time. You go, is it gonna be sold off? Yeah, it was. And just the way it goes. Now we do have a big seller on the field, but we also have a few others that are out there too. We have a big seller on the field. We're going to talk about that in a second. And of course, that is the way we go. But let's have a look at the good times. first of all, before we get into just the bit of a sell-off there as well. Not unexpected, right? So we got all the way up to the top there, 649%. So a 7.5x, folks, in 83 days. Isn't that crazy? We love crypto, and of course, we've got people like Crypto Banter out there going, the best chart out there. And of course, let's play that video because it's pretty cool. He's got another video out, by the way. This is the video from yesterday. He's got another video more recent that's out, so we'll listen to this one.
This is, I think, the best performing asset in 2023. The best performing crypto asset in 2023. So I think it's, if you look at, let's look at it from about here. It is up 523% in 2023. Now, this is all in anticipation of getting the Pulse Hex, the Hex on the Pulsechain. So, and everyone thinking that Pulsechain is coming out. So, I mean, we have to talk about it. Hex is the best performing crypto of 2023. There's no, I mean, you can't look at it in here.
And so he came out with another video just recently, over the last day, with someone else on there too, also talking about how amazing Hex has been. So pretty cool. We're getting the big promotions from these other crypto giant influencers, so it's pretty nice there. In any case, we're up even further than from what he said, 523. We're up at 650 now, pretty much. And of course, that's pretty awesome. We've just come down from there, of course, with a bit of profit taking. And of course, let's have a look here. We're up, 252%. So pretty much on the same par when he was looking at the chart. We're pretty much at that price at this stage. So around 10.6 cents, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, we've got a golden cross here as well on the daily. And we've moved up here. Let's have a look at the hourly, and we'll have a look at this this stuff that's happened. So we have pretty much had a little sell-off here. This is where I was. I tuned into for the evening right here at the top here, unbelievably. And then of course I had a feeling. I go, is it gonna do? And it did. And it came down, and then it came back up here to 12 cents, and then it got sold off. And of course we've got some a big account they're selling into this too. And then we're just sitting back here at 10.6, fighting around here at the moment. Is on the alley. Let's go to the Hex Whale Bot. We can see that we've had so much stuff action. I'm not going to go through all of it because there's a lot there in terms of the Whale Bot, but we will go through some of the highlights there. So last 22 hours there. So we had some selling coming on here earlier, some buying. So that was kind of cool. That was like 18, 19, 20 hours ago. We've had a lot of liquidity changes in the pool. As well. We've got Ivan on tech here, so not just crypto banter. Ivan on tech here, this was 16 hours ago, being scammed to the upside on Hex. There's the old Ivan, and that's awesome, man. Remember, he's got 400,000 followers on Twitter and about, I don't know, similar number, if not close to 500,000 on YouTube. So big deal there. Also, the other thing with Ivan has apparently logged into the Telegram validators for group validators for Pulsechain. To become a validator from the looks of it on PulseChain. So is that cool? Is that cool or what? So big shout out there to Ivan. Welcome to the best community on the planet. And of course, 2.1 million Hex sold there 15 hours ago. So we had some of that selling there 12 hours ago. We had this big stake here. This is OG stake. Look at this. 17.3 million Hex mined, 153% ROI, 51% APY there, 26.6 million Hex reward there. And of course, that's 1,095 days, and they had 2,753 T-shares. Pretty nice, eh? One nice one there. Yes, indeed. Look at that, clapping and all that sort of stuff. Wow, bravo. That's a real Hexkin right till the end as well. And we had some selling going in there, of course, 11 hours ago. So if we go to the chart here, we can see 11 hours ago. I think that's getting back up to where we want to. 11 hours ago. So this is this candle here. That candle there, that's some of the whale selling here. You can see that there. 9 hours ago too, we had 2.4. So coming in here as well. So kind of cool, being able to see that. 6.1 million sold 9 hours ago. So as you can see, we've got those sellers coming in. We had some more selling for 5 million. 8.2 million sold 6 hours ago. 2 million 6 hours ago. So if you look on the chart, that is around about in here. These candles in here. These two here. So we've got these sellings coming in there. So heaps of those. That's what drove us down. We got some more selling there. 6 hours, 1.9. So there's a lot of selling in those two red candles. We had 5 hours ago, 7.7. We had some liquidity changes as well. Then 5 hours ago, we had 2.2 million bought. So we got a bit of buying offsetting that. another 2.1 million bought 4 hours ago. So that's when we started to climb back up here in these green candles with these buyings from the whale bot. And then we had a little bit more selling in there, some liquidity changes, some more selling 4 hours ago. And 2 hours ago, 2.4 million sold. So we had this really back and forth, but off the top at 12.73 cents. And we've had some big stakes in there as well. So cool. We had a bit of everything, but a pretty busy day on the whale bot. So that is where we've got to at the moment. We're currently at 10.64 cents. We pretty much, that wick down here on the hourly, that wick down got down to 9.34 cents. And of course, bounced pretty much more or less off the 200 EMA here on the hourly. So that's pretty much there at the moment. So kind of cool. Let's go to the 4 hourly, have a quick look at that. On the 4 hourly, it bounced off the 50 EMA for the 4 hourly and is back up. And then on the daily, actually, let's look at the RSI. RSI is cooled off on the 4 hourly, so we could have a nice little move higher after the cool off. See, sort of cooled off back down to 53, so it's looking pretty good. And of course, the rest of the market's kind of going up, so that's kind of neat for us. Let's go look at the daily. The daily here, obviously, we've had the top of the day at 12.73, the bottom at 9.34. We're about to finish the day in about 4 minutes. That will be the end of this candle. And the RSI has just cooled off there from overbought. It was up at 77, just back under there at 67 there. It's about looking good on the 4 hourly chart if we're going to move higher, which is nice. All right, so that is some of the highlights there. Now, the big account that we've been talking about is this account. This account's been selling down some of its big bags. I think it started off at 90 million, and it has been selling some down. So this whale this large holder may create some opportunities for people. And of course, if you think about it in context of the total circulating supply, which has been dropping, pretty dramatically with all these long-term T-shares being made up to mine, that a lot of this hex is, these large holders, there's not as many of them around in terms of liquid holders, and so if they're redistributing the hex at this price range, that's probably better, right? It's better than at 30 cents or 40 cents or 70 cents. It's better to happen down here. And so this one here's still got 70 million hex left, and there we are. So it's kind of a trade-off, right? Trade-off there, and it's still worth $7.4 million based on this at the moment. So they may do bouts of selling. We'll see what happens. Maybe they just stop. Maybe they say, I've got enough USDC and I'm just going to stop where I am. So whatever they're going to do there. So that's kind of where that is at. All right. In terms of liquidity pool, let's have a quick look at liquidity. Now, liquidity is set up pretty nicely. We're going to look at this liquidity chart for V3 and have a quick look at that. All right, so this is liquidity pool. We've still got our buying support here in the liquidity pool. This is at 5.4 cents, so that's still intact. We've got nothing in here, so nothing is set up in here anymore. That's gone, and now we've only got this nice little bell curve here at the moment, and we're currently sitting here. The candles on the right hand side of the market price is they're $30,000 US candles here sitting in the V3 pool. And of course, on the left-hand side, we've got the people willing to sell. And when we go to the sell side, of course, it's Hex, not USDC. So buyers have got USDC here. Sellers have got Hex on this side, on the left-hand side. And of course, those candles are around about 270,000 Hex each. And then they jump up to 320 in this tranche here. And they back off at here. So it falls off the cliff here at 12 cents. And then it starts dropping down. It's not near as much, 190 Hex. Goes down to 140 Hex, etc. And keeps slipping all the way down until we get up to around this 20 cent mark. The 20 cent mark is right here. It's just at the beginning of that next tranche, right at the top here. People willing to sell a Hex for 20 cents or more is sitting there. So we've seen a shift of liquidity move up, which is kind of cool. And I talked about this the other day. It'd be nice to see a shift of the liquidity move up as it would normally adjust. And that's what we've seen happen here. So if someone wants to come in over the top and buy a lot more Hex, there's quite a bit of Hex there for a larger holder that wants to pick up a position in PulseChain, pick up a position in Hex. They can do that by coming over the top here because there's now some liquidity there sitting in there in this new price zone. Now, the other interesting thing about this also is that the end of this main tranche is at the 10 cent mark. So it kind of gives a natural defense line at 10 cents. Of course, nothing is inevitable, but you can see how this is kind of looking at the moment. has kind of that 10 cent support, and also gives people opportunity to buy in high here, up to 12 cents at least, and without too much too much price slippage there. Now, obviously, this doesn't include limit orders, which are sitting, on 1 inch matcher and other things like that. Also doesn't include stuff that's off the market, basically, in people's wallets, which is the bulk of funds, right? So we'll see what happens there with the play. So that is liquidity, looking pretty good. All right, so we're going to jump into here. So I thought the top of this move, 12 cents was pretty good where we were. I thought the top of the move, if we did have a move at this station, we may still go there. It was 14 to 17 cents. And of course, we didn't go there. We had some selling there. We've got a big seller at the moment. So we have to just temper our expectations. But still in this, 10 to 13 cent range, for example, still seems fairly good at the moment. Obviously with Testnet V3 still rolling out. Now Testnet V3 is not fully rolled out yet, right? So we've still got the official bridge, USD pairings, and evaluations on PulseX to show up. We've still got features on PulseX to show up, like limit orders and the burn function, things like that. So still got things that are still rolling out in the Testnet V3. We've had the main stuff with the chain, explorers and things like that, validating. That's all come out. So that's still, we might get that this afternoon when we do our session. That's probably where we're going to end up being. All right, let's jump over to Hedron. Before we do that, though, let's go to the summary on the 24-hour. So we're down 9.74% on 24-hour, but we are up on the last hour, 1.69%. Buyers there, 59% of the trades, almost 1,200 trades were buys. That's an incredible number. That's a pretty high number, and that's amazing. The buy volume, 53% sell volume, though. And of course, we've got that big, large whale and a couple others selling there. 6.4 million versus 7.1 million. Pretty amazing. Our liquidity is still at 10.1 million, with the higher price, of course, at Hex at 10.6. That is Hex at the moment. All right, let's get rid of that. Let's go to Hedron. Hedron at the moment is 3,184. What a blast in Hedron. OMG, look at this thing. Look at the range on this today. 2,148 was the low, which is impressive. And then the high is 3,516. So back to the old glory days is Hedron looking pretty nice there. Currently at 3,184. So basically 3,200 right in the middle of the range. But look at that. Let's go back further in time. Towards our first Hex HSI auction back on the 13th of November. And of course, look at that run up what we had before that. We got up into, what was that, 6,243. So still about halfway from that, from the all-time high. So that's kind of cool. Actually, the all-time high is slightly even higher at the beginning. And that's when we got up to, about 7,269 was the all-time high. But we got pretty close to the last time here. So yeah, looking pretty good. The interesting thing, we've got higher low here. If you look out for the whole period of time, we've got this nice higher low here at 1,000, which is pretty neat. So yeah, it's a pretty cool looking chart. So that is Hedron. Let us have a look at the summary on 24 hours. We're down 1.59%, which is not too bad. Buys, 130 trades were buys, 53%. And the sell volume was 51%, 505k versus the buy, 49% at 501. So that's just over 1 million on this pair. Obviously, this is the Hex Hedron USD pair. The bigger pair is the Hex Hedron one, but looking pretty good. So that is that on Hedron. Let's have a quick look at Icosa. Icosa has been doing pretty well yesterday. What is it today? Icosa at 73. I think it got to about 82 cents yesterday. It's 73 at the moment. So really good results there for people in that ecosystem. Now let's have a quick look at the Hex HSI auctions, and we're going to jump into the comment section after this. Let me just find the right chain, Ethereum chain, and let us go down here. So how many we've got? 3,129 Hex HSIs in the liquidation queue, not yet been bought into the auction house. That's pretty similar the last couple of days. I think it might be down just a little bit. We've got 26 in the auction house at the moment. 4 of them already been closed off. Let's see what's up for grabs here. We've got lots of B shares today. A few little low T share ones there. We've got a decent one here, 32 T shares, closing off in 3 hours or so. What else? We've got a couple of 9 T shares, 10 T shares. They're closing off in about 20 hours. So there's a little bit there. for somebody to pick up there. Obviously, you need to use app.coza Pro to bid on that. Now, Hedron app that is you can use update this for Pulsechain Testnet V3. So Alex McFurter has enabled you to connect to app.coza.pro for V3 testnet. So if you want to do that, you can do that. Kind of cool. Remember, everything got copied over. Now, remember, everything got copied over based on the 26th of January. So if you had assets on Ethereum at that time, that's what's got copied over. So if you had assets up the 26th of January, you wouldn't have been in that snapshot. So if you're wondering why you haven't got assets there, maybe you got them afterwards, like Hex, for example. That's because the snapshot's the 26th, or the block height was on the 26th of January. So don't get confused if you're wondering, where's my assets? I bought them in February, I bought them in March, and they're not there. So that's the basic reason there for that. All right, Dev Huey, 10 watts of NFTs burned in the last 24 hours, 18,289 endpoints. That seems pretty good to me. And that's a pretty decent burn day, actually. We're at 21,451 watts of NFTs left. So we only just crossed 21,500. We're down to 21,450. So it is starting to, we're getting a little bit of movement there, but still a long way to go. Last crowd standing, as I say. It's supposed to be last man standing, but last crowd standing there on that one. So that is from Dev Huey. Also, just a big shout out to Dev Huey. He does have his special annual subscription, $100 US, there on extra features there on the Hex Pro model of his website, which is hexmodel.com, if you want all the details there. So if that's something that's of interest to you, has several benefits there: HSI bidding history, HSI live auction data, mobile web app, mobile alerts, all that sort of stuff. So if that's something for you, check that out. That's Dev_Huey on Twitter. All right, we're going to get into Pulsechain. Yes, we are. We're going to get to Pulsechain, folks. Before we do that, though, we're going to go back to the chat and catch up. We're into Pulsechain. This is the main event, so stay tuned. Let's get into it. All right, what else? We've got quite a few comments since I probably last checked, so how far back do I have to go? Let me find out here. I know that we Matt gave away a nice membership. Let's see here. 27 minutes. I'm back 27 minutes. I'm sure it's not that far. Am I that far behind? Man, that's crazy. What else there? Let's get up here. Crypto Dan. Let me jump back up here. Yeah, we got up to there, that's for sure. I think I found my location now. Scott Jackson, good morning all. Good to see it's Scott. J-Pond in the house there. I think we definitely got up to this. Crypto Dan, exciting times, can't sleep. Yeah, we got up to that for sure. Yeah, I got up to those comments. So I'm going to jump through there. We got up to Tintop. I think it was Tintop where I got up to. Richie Robertson, good evening and greetings from. Is that Italy? I think is that Italy? And let me know. Hopefully I got the flag right there. What else we got going there? Let's jump into here. Pro Hexer, good to see you, Pro Hexer. Welcome to the chat. We've got 92 people in the house at the moment, so big welcome to everybody. If you haven't subscribed, smash the subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, as usual. Let me jump through that. Thomas Turner in the house, evening all. Hey, Superman, good to see you as well. Thomas Turner with the Supermans, love it. Man, I just realized that I haven't been covering a few topics that I should probably cover. Maybe I'll cover them tomorrow. Hey, Hexforce1, hello everybody, good to see Hexforce1. And Empty Corner shouting out to Brian. Brian is one of our two community leaders. Brian is awesome, so big shout out to Brian. Paul O'Shea is in the house. Hey Paul, good to see you. Hey. Good to see Paul. What else? Dave Down Under says, I'm here expecting a Hex Token channel pump. Nice one. I like that. That's pretty funny. All right. Dave Downer says, look forward to your V3 tutorials. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a separate video later on today. And we're just going to be doing a Pulsechain V3 testnet. So stay for that. We will be covering all the Pulsechain updates now on this live stream, but actually doing like tutorials through stuff, we'll do that later on. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be doing a validator because my computer's just not doesn't have the hard drive for it. So we'll see how we get on. I'll do my best. What else there? Check your Pulse Bitcoin, guys. Oh yeah, okay. Let me jump through some of those comments. Michael R's in the house. Good to see you, Michael R. Wookie says we have been having a move on the NFTs. Yeah, pretty awesome move on the NFTs there, Wookie. You'll be happy about that. Very cool. I've always liked Ivan, and he's open-minded guy. He is. I really like Ivan. He's very, very good. Let me jump through some of that. PLSB ended. Your mining's ended. Okay, so there's a rotation on the Pulse Bitcoin mining. Evening, Superman and family watching on TV. In case you're wondering, why am I quiet? Wishing you all good night, says Kate Figure. Nice one, Kate. Appreciate that. I see your comments in the Discord too, Kate Figure, about waking up in the chair. That's pretty funny. Pulsechain snapshot was 26th of January. Yes, so we're going to talk about that in a second. That is the date. That's for the block that was used. I'm glad there's a lot of work to do on PulseX that will give us a lot of time to practice, says Bob. Indeed. Vat Britton says, will we see values updated on V3 today? I suspect we will, Brennan. And that is the indication from Richard. So we'll be looking at, we may very well have that when I do my second live stream later today on Pulsechain, because we'll be doing PulseX, and hopefully they do start populating at that time. So that's kind of cool. If you want to join our Discord, have a good discussion, get all the greatest links on the planet. I have set up all the useful links for Pulsechain. They're all sitting there, plus Richard Hart's official Twitter, of course. That is under useful links on our Discord if you want to get access to all the Pulsechain Testnet V3 links. They're all there, nicely, beautifully ordered for everybody to jump through as well. And obviously with Richard Hart's official Twitter there also if you want to double check. Cool. All right, let's get into it. Pulsechain updates, let's go. And there have been some cool ones. Let's get into it, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, here we are. Pulsechain Testnet V3 is here. Pulsechain.com, links in the video description. Please use it and prepare for mainnet launch. Warning. Warning, everybody. This is the final testnet. So not alluding to a V4, which would be a V5, actually. So far we've had V1, V2, V2B, and now we've got V3. But V3 is the V1 of a proof of stake. So there we are. It can be confusing if we play dance musical chairs with that. But basically, this is the first proof of stake fork of Ethereum, and it's I think it's been a pretty smooth launch so far for the most part. I mean, there's always a few little things, but I think it's been pretty good. This is the final testnet. Mainnet may launch at any time now. Obviously, that's going to be subject to any major issues, but sooner than later is what Richard's indicating here, and he's made a very big point of this. Look at this, it's bold, it's in colors here. Mainnet may launch at any time now, so just take that into account. Check the brand new Explorer, claim a free testnet PLS at the Faucet. So all these sites are on the pulsechain.com, but they're also, I've laid them out even in more detail on Discord under useful links. Stake them, try to bridge over assets from the Ethereum Rigby testnet. Now that bridge is not open yet, but we're going to talk about that. Try trading your PRC20s on PulseX as well. So this is the what you add to your wallet. Now you can do this via the Block Explorer, the Block Scout one. There's two Block Explorers. The Block Scout one, you go to the very bottom and you can add it via MetaMask there. But this is the details if you want to add it manually. Chain ID is 942. Hey, Cape Figure with the big super sticker. He's trying to distract us from the live stream. Nice one there, Cape Figure. And of course, fan character wearing sunglasses with fireworks appearing on the lenses. Nice one. That is pretty awesome. A big shout out to Cape Figure. Thank you so much for your support. So big hats off to Cape Figure for the super sticker. Much appreciated. And of course, bam, let's get into it. So that is the details there as well. Now there's developers as well. If you're a developer, start with reading the docs to get data for your applications. Use one of the QL and endpoints for blocks, PulseX, or peers. You can become a validator for 32 million T-Pulse. There is a beacon chain checkpoint sync provider as well. Official RPC endpoint, PRC V3 testnet, pulsechain.com. Official WebSock endpoint is the following, WSV3 testnet, pulsechain.com. So that's all new too, the Pulse for developers. And of course, if you click on one of these blocks, you're going to pick up some of these details here. And of course, you can see this is some of the graph QL's information that you would need if you're a developer. Most of you won't need that. So yeah, pretty cool. Also, the checkpoint sync provider. That's a cool website. Let's check it out. because that's pretty neat. Look at that. That is the checkpoint provider. So checkpoint v3.testnetwork. .testnet.pulsechain.com as well. This has the epochs, the slots, and the stake roots and the block roots there of the network. So it's pretty cool. It's also got upstream as well on there too. So obviously, if you're into this for developing, that's important for you as well. And Ethereum Beacon Chain Checkpoint Sync Provider, pretty cool. It's got a little I button there as well. An Ethereum Beacon Chain Checkpoint Sync Provider. Checkpoints was created to reduce the operational burden of running a checkpoint sync endpoint, while the checkpoint source code is maintained by Ethereum Foundation DevOps team. Instances and endpoints are operated by the community. So there we are. So that is kind of cool if you're in the developer side of things. So nice little website. We didn't show that yesterday because we weren't looking on the page for that yesterday, but there it is today. A nice one on there, and checkpoint. So that's cool for developers. So as you can see, there's all that GraphQL checkpoint for that as well. Now, this one here, become a validator, will just take you to the launch platform as well. Everything else looks pretty similar on the PulseChain page. Some of it does need to be updated in my view. There's a couple of issues that I have with the commentary in there, but that's just the way it goes. We've still got 3-second block times, for example. It needs to be changed, all that sort of stuff. So hopefully they get onto that. That is kind of cool as well. So nice. And plus, obviously, PulseChain was updated, but PulseX.com was updated too. So this is the other official website, PulseX.com. The link's in the video description. And of course, PulseX, Testnet V3 PulseX is here. Mainnet PulseX could launch at any time. There won't be another warning. You can try out a Testnet V3 PulseX right now. So you've been told on PulseChain and PulseX and on Twitter by Richard that he's made a very big point of this, that the Testnet V3 is up. That is the final testnet, and get your, unless there was something of particular major materiality, I'm sure there is no other difference other than mainnet coming sooner than later. So people have been warned. That's just the way it goes. The rest of the website looks pretty similar. Some of the stuff on here I do believe needs to be updated as well, particularly around this. I think this needs to be updated. So hopefully they update that around the percentages on the fees, because it doesn't match up with the PulseX, but I'm sure they'll get onto it. So that is pretty cool. A big update see on the websites for PulseChain and PulseX. So kind of cool. But here we go, folks. We're getting into it. We're rocking and rolling with PulseChain updates galore. And here we are on the GitLab. And of course, let's refresh, because I did this before the live stream. Refresh. Often when I refresh, there's new updates. So we're going to do that. We've got 3 commas in there on PulseChain group on GitLab, 23rd. We've got 3 commas working. March 24th, Brett Pawson. Gamma in there, 23rd there. And now, if you want to look at videos on validating, Gamma has got a series, and I put that under useful links. It's the second to last update under useful links in our Discord. You can watch some big, nice videos of Gamma doing Prism, Aragon, uploading all that sort of stuff, all the execution clients and stuff like that too. And they're quite, they're decent length video, but if you're going to do it and you want the extra visual eye, then that's probably a way to go. Other than that, you can use the Launchpad and sort of navigate your way that way for the validating. There's also the Telegram group, right? So you can get in there and ask questions also, which we saw Ivan on Tech jumped in there. So that's kind of neat. The Richard Hart was on the 23rd. He was in there too. And the 24th there, SJB in the house. So they're working hard, folks. They're working hard. And then obviously on PulseX group, we've also got them logging into 3 Commas Capital, Agris as well. Artem there was a little while ago. Brett Paulson 23rd. Heinz there 23rd. Lucas the 23rd. And Richard Hart the 23rd, all logging in for work. So it's kind of neat. Now, there was one issue that's been posted on the PulseChain GitLab, and this was around documentation needs updating. This was posted by Hamish. The docs for Aragon Pulse don't seem to have been updated for PulseChain. Simple install using instructions in the README will result in a regular Aragon node on ETH mainnet. Modifying them to use PulseChain Aragon reposition will still result in a node operating on ETH mainnet. So we'll see what happens to this particular update. They have made changes to Aragon on the GitLab, so we'll have a quick look at that. So this was updated. Let me refresh. Refresh there. So 54 minutes ago we had several updates. Now these can be maybe file updates, little corrections, little additions These are the sort of things that will probably go in these folders after they were publicly disclosed. We got a little updates here on 54 minutes on Prism, on Aragon, and remember, Prism is one of the 2 consensus clients. The other one is Lighthouse. Aragon is one of the 2 execution clients. The other one is GoGeth there. And of course, those 2 have had little updates. Go Pulse. These are the 2 execution. Go Pulse there. That's the other execution client. And that had a little update 56 minutes ago as well. We had some little updates on the Pulsechain Testnet there, and so forth. 4 hours ago, we had a little update on Aragon Pulse Snapshot, also for the snapshot there. And I don't know if I went into this yesterday. Let's have a quick look in here. So yeah, they had a little update on that. Not much in there unless we go to the read files probably. We got the CLI 18 hours ago. Lighthouse, the other consensus client there, is 1 day ago. So that's kind of the main updates there on the page there. So a little bit of improvements there from the team working on that. So let's jump away from that. And then we jump into the Pulsechain Testnet. Now I wanted to read some stuff out of here. There are a few changes in this that were of interest. So let's go in here and read this. So Pulsechain Testnet is up and running. Yes, it is indeed. This is a testnet, and issues may arise as the network or certain front ends see increased load. So that's kind of cool. It is a testnet, we must remind ourselves. Sec 1 version 3, this iteration of Pulsechain is entirely new implementation, represents a hard departure from prior test networks, which were proof of work. The new implementation is based on Ethereum proof of stake model and implements an entirely new beacon chain while forking the Ethereum execution chain and state of that chain. Important to know, previous versions were based on the POSA proof of stake authority model. This version of Pulsechain Testnet brings the following enhancements. Now, there's a couple of additions in here, I believe, from yesterday when we looked at this. A revamped consensus model based on Ethereum proof of stake. That's the key line there. And the first one, really cool. Decreased slot time with it compared to Ethereum. So obviously Pulsechain is going to have 10-second slot times and 12-second versus 12-second on Ethereum. So it's very important. Now remember, 1 epoch is the terminology that we're using. We're going to talk more about that when we get to Explorer, but it has 32 slot times in it, and you have blocks associated to the slot times, but not every slot necessarily has to have a block, but they probably do in most cases there. So that's the thing. Now, obviously, it's going to be a 17% speed up advantage over Ethereum. So that's, of some degree of excitement, particularly around more burn as well, right? So the next pod is validated reward burning, basically more deflationary. So we're going to have 25% fee burn there. So the reward pretty much is going to be 25% lower is the way I understand it's going to work. And of course, additional burn to compensate for reduced slot times. Because we've got faster slot times, we're going to have more turnover of slots and therefore more burning from that way with the EIP 1559. Multi-client support there. We've got obviously the 4 clients that represent the majority of diversification of clients on Ethereum. I think its executions like 90% with the Go and Aragon, and I think consensus is about 85% of what the clients are doing on Ethereum with Prism and Lighthouse. There are other clients like Bisu and other ones like that out there that make up the differences. So there's quite a few others, probably another half a dozen or something like that. So, but we've got the main ones that are covering 90 to 85%, which it's kind of cool. If there are issues in one client thing, then you've got the other client software to sort of back that up. People can use, or you've got validators that are using the other software, so it sort of protects the system that way to some degree. And obviously these softwares get updated by the teams themselves that support these software, and so they typically have to get updated too. So those are some of the issues that you have around that. That's why diversification is very important from that point of view. Sacrifice credits have been written. Woohoo! Yes, we like that. Sacrifice credits have been written. We'll give that a pump up. That's well worthy. So, you should be able to see your sacrifices on there. You can go check them. Make sure that they match up with the sacrifice checker if you want. The latest one was, what was it, the 1st of December 2022, I think it was. Now, Ethereum staker validated deposits have been refunded. So it's probably not something that we care about, but that is the case there. And the AMM bot has been executed. So this is very important, of course. Execute to rebalance various automated market makers. So obviously, the biggest liquidity pools is the idea behind that. So it's kind of cool, and that's been played. Now, obviously, we're waiting for the US dollars and the official bridge to come in to give us US dollar prices. That seems to be the case there. And of course, the public block and beacon explorers are available at URLs. So previously we just had this one. This is the Block Scout Block Explorer. Now we also have the beacon one as well, just like Ethereum for the proof of stake chain, which based off the Aragon there. So that's kind of cool. PulseChain team welcomes the development third-party explorers. Yes, so we will probably have more block explorers, just like Ethereum has other people doing other block explorers as well. So very, very exciting, and the PulseChain team welcomes you. Very, very exciting about that. So that's kind of cool, and obviously the rest of it's all about connecting up, and we're going to talk about that in full on in our second live stream later today when we go through PulseChain. So those are a lot of the big updates that I think are relevant there. Obviously, if you're doing validating, there's probably a few extras there with the particular softwares, and you can see they're doing little updates there, but that is pretty much it. Let's jump into Richard Hart himself. Now, the title of the video is too many users hit Pulsechain Testnet V3. Boo-hoo, the block explorers are serving too many users. Thus, capacity is being added. That's a problem, isn't it? What a bad problem that is to have so many people using the block explorers. But that is what's happening. We're getting bigger and bigger community, and we've got big influences. It's just going so good. We couldn't ask for better. Honestly, it's going so well. And of course, that said, block explorers are serving too many users. Thus, capacity is being added to support the block explorers with the computer power there as well. So beefing up the servers and stuff like that, I guess, is what they're doing. That is really neat. So that's from Richard Hart, and that was posted only several hours ago, a couple hours ago, 8 o'clock. What time is that? So 5.5 hours ago that was posted. So pretty neat the update. That's the last update based on this so far. I will do a check of Richard a bit later. So this is the Block Explorer PulseChain scan.v3.testnet.pulsechain.com, and of course we'll be looking at this more in when we do our full PulseChain Testnet live stream. We're going to go through everything, and this is where it's at the moment. So looking really good. We've still got the pre-PulseChain fork data indexing, but it looks getting pretty close probably. And we've got the activity. Look at this activity. So nice there. We've got the transaction activities here. We've got 15,000, 10,000, 5,000, and we've got the activity on the chain, which is pretty nice. And what else? The average block time is 10.4 seconds. They're pretty much around that 10-second block time. Total transaction 46,000. Total block 16.6, and so on. 17 million wallets. So we probably expect this all to increase. That may just be due to this indexing here as well. Expecting that there to be a much bigger number, obviously, in the hundreds of millions. So we'll see. We've got the blocks going on at the moment. The latest block is 16,672,794. So that's kind of there, and of course we've got the transactions down here as well. Looks like there's a little bit of lag on here because that says 2 hours ago. So I'm just going to refresh that. There we are, a few seconds ago. So just got caught. That is the latest one there. So 16,672,798. So we'll keep looking at this Block Explorer, waiting for the index to finish. And yeah, looking pretty good. 6-second block times. Looks like successful. Look at all the transactions. Look successful on there, don't they? So that's going well. So that's pretty smooth. Going pretty smooth there on the actual Block Explorer. The other one, of course, what else do we want to talk about? Now, there's a couple of things we're going to talk about in the testnet when we do the V3. Basically, you can go through all the tokens here, all or TPLS there as well. You can go through apps. You can have a look at, you can go to the Sacrifice Checker. You can go to Testnet V3 Faucet, the Pulse Ramp Bridge, which we're going to have a quick look at, but that's not operational thus far. PulseX, of course, and the Testnet V3 Beacon Explorer. So you got links to all the different front ends from there as well. You can go back to the old V2B there if you want to look at the old proof of work, if you want to do that. And of course, you can search by tokens here. Click on all there as well. And pull up your stable coins here, your PulseX, of course. It's interesting that we've got on PulseX 143 trillion is the PulseX number. So that's interesting. Yeah, so we're going to talk more about that hopefully this afternoon. So come back to that. That's an interesting number. And obviously the public supply out of that, expecting that that's the all up with the origin and sacrifice accounts. But the public supply expected, I'm guessing around the 17 trillion mark. So out of that mark, around 17. So we'll double confirm that math, but that is where I'm heading with that at the moment. So that is give or take. I mean, it's give or take, right? Because the estimates at the beginning are going to be different from the final numbers. So 17 divided by 143, that's about 12% of the supply, or almost 11.8, 12%. So we'll see as well. So that is kind of it for PulseX. So the difference being with the origin accounts, so controlling supply, which seems actually higher than original. So we'll see. I'll go and double check all those, but that is pretty much the numbers there. So kind of cool. We've got all the others as well in here. All your favorites, Link and Shiba Inu, some of the top ERC 20s and stuff like that. Not sure if there's any. So that's the PulseX one. It's got ERC 20, so I'm not sure whether they're going to be changing this terminology, whether it's just an issue that they oversight here, but we've got ERC 20s on here. Would think that they would all be saying PRC 20s, right? So we'll see what they do with those sort of tag names with the labels. Pretty important, I think. So we'll see what they do there. We've also got Zen Crypto. So Zen is now on supported on the public testnet as well. Jack Levin put that out, I think, over the last 24 hours. Put that out as well. So we'll see where we end up there with some of the terminology. It needs to be separated out with PRC 20s, PRC 721, something like that. So kind of cool. Now we've got the other block explorer, the Beacon one. This is the new one. Obviously, if you're on Ethereum, you've seen this before. Beaconchar.in is kind of the equivalent. This is beacon.v3.testnet.pulsechain.com. This is the PulseChain version. And we can see that we've got epochs, slots. So you got to get used to this terminology if you're not used to it. So you've got epochs there. One epoch will have 32 slots. A slot doesn't necessarily have a block, but it probably will. And of course, you can see that epoch, slot, and the block. And of course, you'll get a validator. So every slot will have 128 validators. This is what they call a committee. And one of those, out of those 128 validators, will be the proposer of the block. They'll be validating it. All the rest, the 127 others, will be testing the block. And of course, confirming that block is true, what the proposer did, and so forth. And they all get paid for it, right? They all get paid for it. So obviously, the more you're online, the more chance you got getting rotated through the slots, the more likely you get paid. So that's very important. So we've got epochs here, and as you can see, this is epoch 564, and you can see that's the latest one here. So this under here would be 32 slots under each of these, but you go to the right hand side, you can see the latest one here, 5564 is the epoch, and you can see how it's just repeated because there's 32 slots in this epoch here, which is important. So that's the way it goes. You can see does happen to be a block in every one so far, but it's not necessarily does have to have one as the case. I haven't seen one skip here or anything like that, but that is the key. You can click view more and you can see those slots. Now what we have, so it's going to take a little second to update. It's kind of cool. I see that we've actually gone up to 4 Gwei on the mark here. So yesterday we were down at 2 Gwei, and we've got 4 Gwei on at the moment. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Congestion in the chain, folks. That's how we rock and roll. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, that's taking a little bit longer to update, probably because I've got so much stuff open, but there we are. That is it. Now, what I wanted to say was we started yesterday validators. So let's do the math on the validators. We've got 4,195. So people have been downloading the software and becoming validators. That's a good sign. We're up about 100 validators from yesterday opening. Now, how do we do the basic math? To start the proof of stake chain, we're going to need, what do we know? We need one epoch has 32 slots. So if we take 32, and we know that there's 168 validators per slot, so we times that by 168, and that gives us how many? Let me just do that again. We've got 32 times 168. That gives us, I'm just, what's happened? Something's gone wrong here. 32, 138. My calculator's all screwed up. We're getting there. Yeah, so 32. Sorry, my calculator had some other data on it. 32 times 128, we've got 496. So yesterday, I think we started off with 497. So I think they probably had 496 plus 1 is probably the case there. And now we've got 4,195. So we're basically up, 99 more than we had yesterday or so. So that's really cool to see independent validators coming on, and we should see this number grow, right? Should see this number grow in the days and I guess weeks ahead, depending on how long the testnet is going to run for. And so that's really cool. So they have to start off at least 4,096, and of course we know that Gamma, I think he indicated that he had like 200-300 validators running on his computer, which is kind of the top end, I think it was. So it's kind of interesting. So 4,096, that's what they start off with, and that is so that you can rotate through one epoch at least on every single slot, and you'll have 128 validators chosen. Now I guess they're randomly chosen. I'm not sure how they systemize that. There is details on that, but that is the place there. So that's probably why we started off at that minimum amount 496, is because of that one slot, 32 slots in one epoch, and it requires 128 validators per slot there. So that's kind of cool. Let's jump over to I just want to have a quick look at something else here first. There's lots of things here. There's the EIP 1559 burn. So this is an Ethereum member. And of course, this is what we're looking for here. It doesn't show anything on here yet, so I'm just not sure whether they haven't hooked this in or something. Not hooked in. We're looking forward to that being updated. That's the burn. What else is in here? Income history. They've got income history in here. No, it's not the one I want. Let's go to validators, and let's go to validator leaderboard. We'll see who the top validators are. So on the top validators, we've got the validator number on the left here, and we can jump into one of these. We've also got their public key from the validator. Remember, when you put your deposit your pulse in, you're not losing your pulse. You're just keeping it in your own address. You have to set up your own private key, public key, and you can use that. At the moment, we can see the income that the top one's making. Where is it? On one day, 32. They've deposited that amount of pulse. But let's go into the index. I think this will be fine if we go into their details. So that's kind of cool. So this validator here is the number one validator on the network. They deposited 32 million pulse, and of course the effectiveness 97%. Ouch! At least they were 100%. The one we looked at. So 97%. Attestation inclusion effectiveness should be 80% or higher to minimize reward penalties. So obviously you don't want to do that. So it's kind of cool. They've done 31 blocks. They've proposed 31 blocks. So they've been lucky to do that. They've had no missed, orphaned, or scheduled ones. What else? Their attestation assignments. They've executed 5,560 attestations. So they've been pulled in again and again to the committees. As we said, remember, one slot's going to have 128 validators. One's going to be the proposer or validator, and the others are all going to be testing that block to make sure it's all good. There's this massive, committee thing of all the validators, so we won't get into all that deep dive. But that is kind of cool. Was it sync participants? 5,673, missed 343. And of course, here's what I wanted to actually look at is the income. So it looks like on the daily, they're earning about 22.26 test pulse here as the number one validator. So that seems to be the case there on the day. So interesting numbers. We'll see how they firm up over time. They've got a massive APR. This may all be slightly misleading, or massively misleading. So we'll see how that goes. What those look like over the next couple of days, those stats. See where they even themselves out. Some interesting stuff. All right, so that is the beacon chart there. Pretty neat, right? There's also other links, of course, to Pulse Ramp, which we're going to look at in a second, and the Sacrifice Checker and PulseX, of course, linked off the Beacon Explorer there. There's lots of other stuff you can look at, epochs, slots, blocks, and stuff like that. We're going to have a look through that and when we go through the Testnet V3 live stream later on, and there's other stuff in there too. So all good. We'll come back to that, but that's pretty cool. I think seems to be ticking along pretty nicely. And now that we've got data, look, flat line, and now we've got data. Isn't that cool? Yay! We've got all the active validators in there. Pretty neat there. Love it. They haven't changed this either. It's got ETH here still as well. That needs to be changed to PLS. So we'll see what they do. They should probably change some of these metadata labels as well. Hopefully they'll get around to that. I thought they would have done that already, but let's see how they go. That's on both explorers. All right, that is that. Let's get into Richard Hart's update here. Now, obviously, people are talking about PulseX. So we come to PulseX and we go to the information tab. Let me just switch over over to Pulsechain Testnet V3 on the network, and let's refresh this and get the latest and greatest. So it's still flatline zeros. So yesterday we were looking at this, obviously nothing in here. And of course, we're expecting, mainnet to launch. We've had, in terms of the protocol, we've had testnet launch. with the blockchain. And then, of course, we're expecting the AMM to run. We've had that run. That's done. And, of course, we're expecting, ratio trading, or people can ratio trading on PulseX. So we're getting that happening. And then we're expecting the official bridge open up 1 to 2 days later. So that's kind of the process that we're following from more or less. And then, of course, that when we have that, we have stable coins come through. And, of course, they flood through PulseX and they give us US dollar amounts. That's kind of the logic there. And that is seems to be where we're at the moment, that last stage. And, of course, waiting for the official bridge to open and so forth. So here's the official bridge. And, of course, you can see let's do a refresh. It's still unknown, so it's still not picking up V3 testnet yet. It will pick up the old one. So if I think pretty sure the V2 is still operating. Let's have a look at that. Pulsechain Testnet 2B. So yeah, that's still operating under the old one there, but it's having trouble fetching token details. So maybe it's just a couple minutes to reload on that. So we're waiting for that to happen. So we're waiting for that. We're going to go back to Testnet V3, and it's showing unknown. So it's not yet open yet. So we're waiting for that. Hopefully, when we do our Testnet V3 tutorial later on, or live stream later on, that will be up and running. That will be very, very exciting. What else there? So yeah, we're going to get some prices run through once we get that bridge. People will be bridging stuff over from, I think it's going to be Go Early Testnet, and we'll be pulling it over. And then we'll be able to, put these in here and pair them up. So it's going to be cool. So we've had the AMM bot runs. We've got those wrapped ETH pairs, PLS pairs set up. And then, of course, people can set up custom pairs. People just right through the liquidity. If you want to set up custom pairs with particular tokens, you can just add liquidity and select a new contract and set up your own pairs this way. And, of course, when the bridge opens, we'll get those wrapped stable coins coming over, and they'll be flooding through here as well. So like 3 states of pairs there. The first one, the AMM, second one, custom, and then third one, the bridge pairs. So that's kind of the logic there. So we're waiting for that under the info tab. That's where all the details as well. I don't know whether they should call info tab like dashboard or something. What do you guys reckon? I'm not sure what they should call that. But anyway, pools there. That is the pools. That is the tokens. So all 0 at the moment. Hopefully we'll be in just in luck and it will launch by the time we do our live stream later on. Let's hope, fingers crossed on that. But basically, Richard said they'll turn on a bridge to another Ethereum testnet next, maybe tomorrow, which is today, more or less. I mean, given, plus or minus 6 to 12 hours. So that fake stable coin, that's a bit funny, can be bridged in, and that will allow the dollar values to show in the PulseX testnet info site. Woohoo! So that's what we're waiting for, folks. That is kind of the last mile of the testnet there. Very, very, very cool, and we're excited about that happening. All right, so that is some of the cool stuff there. So we're waiting for that. We'll be doing a live stream later on today in a couple of hours' time. It won't be that long, only a couple of hours away. After this, I'll have a nice little break and then come back to do. We'll run through as hopefully everything that we can on here. This is all the highlights. We're just highlighting all the Pulsechain update highlights and what's to come during this standard live stream, and it's been pretty good. I think we've been covering a lot of good stuff there. So that's kind of neat. Now on here, of course, we don't have limit orders, so limit orders still to come to be toggled on. They just have to toggle it on. It's sitting there behind the scenes. And of course, we're also waiting for the buy and burn to show up here on this as well. That would be very, very exciting. And of course, also to show up on the Beacon Explorer that we just looked at as well. So that's kind of neat also. All right, so that is where we are there. What else? The incentive tokens on here. And incentive token, you can see it here. That's the incentive token. That is going to, in the contract, it does seem to have, has a burn function on it. So that's interesting. Has a delegation function. It has control. I think it can be controlled by another entity, which will be the founding entity there as well. So that we're getting a little bit, if you read the code, it's a bit more details. So we'll be looking forward to particularly how the emission curve is going to issue on incentive. We know it's deflationary. This will be a big deal from the yield farmers and a big deal for speculators. So those two, it's going to be pretty interesting. I suggest it's probably going to do pretty well and might take a few people by surprise. This is obviously one of Richard Hart's tokens. He's going to have the Pulse coin, PulseX token, incentive token, and of course he's going to have Hex on PulseChain. They'll become the primary one, I guess, because PulseChain will be Richard Art's main chain ecosystem, and that's a vertical integration setup that Richard's wanting to run, obviously with on-ramps and off-ramps, and of course potentially a hard wallet in the future, and maybe even a stable coin or so. We'll see how that goes as well. The other side, of course, is he'll also have Hex on Ethereum, which will be the Genesis Hex, which we're obviously watching now, currently at 10.62 cents. So that's kind of the play there. Looking forward to it. So some cool stuff coming up. Let's see how we get on for our testnet coming up there. And of course, hopefully the bridge will be up and running by then too in a couple of hours. Who knows? We might be in luck. So that is the update for that. We're going to get into the Hex Daily Stats. And of course, this does come out day 1207. We're going to get into that in a second. Before we do that though, let's catch up on the chat and see who is in the house now. Who has jumped in here? Let's see how far back I have to go. Not too far from the looks of it. Maybe wrong about that. Who knows? Where are we up to here? Where did I get? What was the very last comment that I got up to? We got up to Cape Figure, with the big super sticker. I appreciate that again. Thank you very much, Cape Figure. Now, did I jump past any of that? Evening Superman and family watching on TV. Yeah, we got up to that too. I think that was it. So we'll jump past that and on our merry way down the chat column there. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking about the weight token. I think the Pulse police have said it's okay. They just said there's one address that they were a bit wary of that had rug pull-ish stuff, but other than that, everyone says it's going pretty well. Once again, buyer beware, but it seems to be going okay. That's related to the Coast team as well, which is bringing out on-ramp, off-ramp, and stablecoin. So it should be okay. Can't believe it's finally here. Says Hex 50. Me too. It's awesome. We're going to see mainnet in no time. It's got to be this year. Says Hex 50. Yeah, I think sooner or later. I'm still feeling like June is probably a good period. We'll see how we go. Now that we've got the earlier terminal rate, Richard's conscious of that too. So I think that's a bullish thing. I'm going to try again to add my liquidity, says Bob. Let us know how that goes, Bob. Jump into the Discord if it goes well. Brendan says drop a like for the alpha. Hey, yeah, definitely get into that. Let me jump through some of that. Let me see where we're up to here. DGen's in house there, Superman. Merry Christmas. Thanks, DGen. Yeah, it's an early Christmas present as the Testnet V3. Love the liquidity talk, says Dave. Hey, thanks, Dave. Detached Soul in house there. Yo, been so busy. I haven't had a chance to play with V3. Yeah, we'll be having a full live stream later on V3. We've just covered the highlights of the latest stuff on PulseChain, just to keep updated. Because the validators are capped at 32 million Pulse, does that incentivize larger wallet holders to make multiple nodes to earn more fees? That's correct, Brennan. So we could see people with hundreds of validators with their big Pulse amounts, and that's good news. That's where you'll see the best chance of getting a lot of validators up. Right, we've got 4,100 now, or whatever. Heading up to 100,000 is probably a good target with validators, and we should see some of the larger holders, maybe like the Rack and Michelle's, doing that as well. That means they're going to earn really nice fees with their big bags. It also takes a lot of Pulse off the market, so it's a win-win for everybody. You're live again, says Pineapple. Indeed, I am. Bridge is a good thing. Yeah, Bridge is going to be party time. Brendan's in house says hopefully single-side staking is added as well, but most likely not, as we spoke about yesterday. Yeah, single-side staking is definitely could be added, but we've already got it there. It shows up already, but whether they actually add a dummy pool or not is another thing. I suspect that that's going to be pretty popular. If you think about all the airdrops that the Hexkins have got and Pulsekins are going to be getting as Genesis holders and stuff like that, and stakers, or miners, if we like to call it now, then the chances of having tons of project teams wanting to do airdrops that way is pretty high. That being said, of course, there'll be the DAO. The DAO hasn't been added there too, so the DAO's coming out. We'll have that too for decision making, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. Now, obviously there's always a due diligence aspect to the third-party projects, right? So there's still issues around protecting the community there. That's all I'd add to that. How you add liquidity pair, I just showed you earlier, but if you come to the live stream later, we'll be doing it as well. Just go under liquidity on PulseX. That's easy to do. Brennan says, I'm waiting till Sunday for cheaper fees to claim, says Brennan, for the weight token. Okay, cool. Yes, May, June. Yeah, that seems kind of like Richard's saying earlier than later, so it could be earlier. I'm just saying where I think it is, but it could be earlier than that, could be May. Super stream, very good update, says Pineapple. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Multiple nodes means less downtime. Woohoo! That's right. Just means bedtime, more downtime. Obviously, spreading the yield over a bit more, but it's going to be pretty good. But Pulsechain mainnet launches at 12 noon Saturday, says Cape Figure. Maybe. Hey, could be wrong. It could be wrong. Could be a sun launch like 2 weeks later. That'd be interesting. It all just depends whether they find any material issues or not. And if they only have surface, superficial things to fix up, like names, like ETH to PLS, for example, then we could be all go. It could be all go in a couple of weeks. The terminal rate looks like I said, one more rate hike at max is from what we're looking at. That's good news for crypto. So like I say, Richard sees all that too. So he may very well launch at this period of time. So kind of cool. I just feel like June's like a pretty good time for it, but maybe even May now is just after that terminal rate hit would be good too. So anyway, it's kind of good period for me. To the moon, friends, the gods have spoken, says Alex. All right, let's get into it, folks. Let's get paid. All right, so day 1207, the 23rd of March. The price is at 10.641, down 9.7% from yesterday's. Beautiful looking 11.7. We've got the payout per T-share, 6.65. Glorious. Look at the last 2 days. Beautiful. And the price is up, yield is up generally, and that's fantastic. The share rate is up 7, and we're up to 26,674. The US dollars is 2,838, so it's just popped below 3,000 again. But we're going up. The T-shares getting more expensive all the time, so it's kind of neat. Average mining there 6.44 years. The APY rate is 37.54. That includes rewards and emergency in-state penalties. Now this the Hex Gold Whale came out today. So the clock's just ticked over. So the Hex Gold Whale, 3.5 billion of Hex just came out. The Hex Gold Whale, 146,000 T-shares. That is dragged down when it does a 30-day stakes, drags down the mining length there. So that's likely to bounce up tomorrow, is my guess. Probably up to about 6.7 years or so. We'll see what the Hex Gold Whale does as well. We'll do another 30 days short stake and repeat that behavior. It's done it twice already, approximately. So we'll see. Liquidity in the pool jumped massively from 42.8 million up to 103 million Hex. Obviously, with the big large accounts selling their stuff down and LP providers moving their liquidity around. We're down from 7.9 million down to 6.7 million US dollars. And what really? Is the ETH being changed that much? 3,600 down to 1,536. Well, that's pretty interesting. That's worthy of looking at, isn't it? What else we got there? Change in T-shares down 7,352. We're sitting at 10,222,000. That won't show up till tomorrow with the Hex Gold Whale. So we'll see that in tomorrow's stats. What else? Let's jump away. Just have a look here. Let's jump away from that. So lock coins, 10.21% of Hex is locked in at the moment. A beautiful amount of penalties. Look at this. Yesterday, 5 million. Today, 6.9 million. Beautiful to be a T-share miner mining Hex. It is glorious. And that's in addition to the yield here as well, 68 million plus 50% of this. So that's pretty nice. We'll take that any day. Massive increase in current holders. What the heck? 1,140. Oh my goodness, what an explosion. Hex is growing pretty strongly based on that. 326,900 is on Etherscan, and that's for the Hex contract. The miners are up 106. Woohoo! That's awesome. That is fantastic. I love it. That's what we like. That's what we up to 120,000. We hit 120,000. Onwards and upwards, folks. Bring on the highest the stakes. Maybe Q2 is looking good. We're expecting an update from Toby, as I understand it, one of the producers on possibly Matty Allen's. I'm not sure if that's happened. I don't think it has. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, the Hex Investment Trust at this price must have hit $10 million. So So surely they must be progressing towards public listing. It might take them 6 to 9 months. Who knows? We'll see. But they must be at that mark now. Now, I did watch a video where Connect says either 50 people and or $10 million. So it doesn't seem to be an and. So that's pretty positive. Let's look forward to that. That's bullish too. Bring it on. We had Overwatch Rack and Michelle give us an update as well. Our big whale that's building all the stuff, and that's kind of positive to see him update around the control software that they're doing, and I like that. That's pretty neat. So that's kind of cool. So a lot of things coming that are going to be awesome for this ecosystem, folks. Only going to get better and better. Change in total holders up 1,354. Get out of here. Get out. 544,140 holders. OMG. That is day 1,207. What a day. Tomorrow's going to be great as well. We'll see how that goes here. 1,208. That's our day now. 1,208. We're on the 4th month of the 4th year. And man, what a blast we're having. The base payout is around 6.312. Expecting this to jump tomorrow. We'll see what the Hex Godwell does though as well. Excuse me. It's going to be fun to see. I'll have a little bit of a drink, I think. So that is the Hex Daily Stats. What a day. Let's have a look at the Hex Whale. No, not Hex Whale. Let's have a look at the global stakes. That's what we're looking at. Looks like it's refreshing. So hopefully I've still got my data there. Is that my data? Yes. The next 9 months. This is the next 9 months of all Hex T-shares that are mining Hex at the moment. And you can see we've got rid of the Hex Godwell. And so the candle, the scaling is all fixed up now because it had 3.6 billion Hex in there. But now we've got all back to normal. These are our larger short-term T-share miners. And of course, you can see the biggest candle there, 727 million Hex in that one. And of course, if we go right up to the end of this sort of period, up to, let's say, the 15th of May, there's 394,000 T-shares with all of these short-term large holders there as well. So that is what we're looking for at the moment. We've got a couple of days, decent days, a couple of down days where it gets lower, and then a couple of big days in here as well. So these typically they just keep rolling over. We'll see what they do. The share rate's going up against them, so they are getting diluted pretty seriously at the moment, and it's going to increase over time, particularly by the end of the year. We're expecting to jump all the way up to 32,000 by November by the end of this period. So back down that back end here, or actually in here, we're expecting the share rate to jump quite seriously. These guys will get heavily diluted from that point of view. There are some OGs, OGT miners in here. They've been there for a couple of years, so they're still coming out. We've seen some of those every day. We've sort of seen every couple of days, kind of seen those come out. Going to be interesting. We've got a big candle here on the 3rd of September, and a big candle here, 400 million here on the 27th. We've got a couple of ones out here. Otherwise, it's not too bad heading out here. And this front of the wave will just keep rolling forward, but getting smaller and smaller as it goes. That's pretty much what we expect to see there, as it has been. So that is that. We'll see what the Hex Godwell does though. Now, this is really great news from the How to Pulse team, the Hex Xbot news. And of course, if you get your wallet compromised, we pray that you don't. But if you are unfortunate to that happen, the How to Pulse team are proud to announce, this is just out, folks, this has just come out, the How to Pulse team are proud to announce that our cutting-edge bot equipped to save compromised wallets has been successful on PulseChain V3. So that's awesome, folks. This community is the best, isn't it? And of course, we are fully battle tested and ready to save our clients when mainnet is launched. Isn't that wonderful? So How to Pulse are proud to announce 100% success, fully tested on V3, saving the community one wallet at a time. So if you have had an issue with your compromised wallet, How to Pulse are there to help. And of course, that is the link. I'll post it in the chat there. Awesome news, folks. Really is great news. So let's put that in there. That is the link. So save that to your favorites. Maybe you haven't been compromised, but what happens, unfortunately, if the chance that you do in the future, then at least you've got a service that may be able to help you protect some of your bags, your sacrifices, or whatever. You can find out more details from them as well. So very, very cool. Sandy says How to Pulse are awesome. They are. So that's a really good service and pretty exclusive to the Hex PulseChain community. I mean, this innovation's coming from inside our community, not outside. So it's a really big deal. I think it's kind of neat. All right, we're going to how we're doing for time. An hour and 30. What? How did we get up so high? This is crazy, folks. We're having too much of a good time. And of course, here is the Hex price at the moment. Let's go to the 1 minute chart, because you guys know that you love the 1 minute chart, because I love the 1 minute chart. Let's go. That's the one. No, that's too fast. Let's go to 5 minute chart. That's the 5 minute chart. There we are. 5 minute chart. let's keep on that as we wrap up the live stream, and I will be back on again in a couple hours time to do a full overview of Pulsechain Testnet V3. Today we just covered all the latest news, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and maybe we'll have a bit more news when by the time we do our live stream in a couple hours time. It could be pretty fun. All right, how far back do I have to go? Not that far, I hope. Let's just scroll forward in time. I've got up to there. Big Kahuna, thanks Hex Token. You're welcome, Big Kahuna. Can't wait to see the price we launch at. Yeah, so this is Testnet. Get out there, do the Testnet. If you want to become a validator, do that. I do think there'll be third-party services to do delegation coming up in the future. But at the moment, solo staking is possible, and you can do your best to learn that. There is the launchpad to get you started with the checklist and everything else. All the links in our Discord. You can check that out as well, and on the official website, pulsechain.com, and so check that out too. Dennis says, so can we wait some more days? Yes, I guess so. Pulsechain not quite here yet. You got up until that point, right? So I think you've got a little bit more time. We'll see. Did anyone try farming in the V3? Yes, I've done it through TV. I'm farming, and we'll cover that in the V3 live stream later on today and see how much incentive tokens I've got. How do you unstake the LP on V3 farming? Well, it wasn't quite working when I was last looking at it. Hopefully it's working when I go to do it on the live stream later on today. We'll see. I want $1, but hey, these things take time to get figure. That's funny, man. It's funny. What else there? If it will happen, mate, and that's for sure. So Rango's after 0005. Yeah, there a lot of people will be after that price. How to Pulse are awesome. They certainly are. Brendan says, I was just talking to a Hexagon last night, how the boy has saved all his stakes that was compromised. Great job, How to Pulse. Nice one, Brendan. That's fantastic news. So the How to Pulse, save it to your favorites. You know, we hope you don't need it, but if you do need it, at least you're aware of that solution. And it may be able to, you know, I guess it may be a competing bot that gets to the crypto first before the hacker does, something like that. Maybe have some sort of solution like that. Sandy Beach says, are you hiding V2B network on your MetaMask? No, it's just sitting up, it's just sitting on my thing. I just switch between them if I want to. Sandy, I've still got that up. How can you see how many days left on a Hex HSIs that has been purchased? There's a site. Go into our useful links under Icosa Hedron, and you'll see a site. I just forget the name of it at the moment, but there's a site there under, and it will show you. I'm just forgetting the name. Yeah, just forgot the name of it, but there's a site there that will show you how many days you got left. You can connect your wallet up to that. All right, cool. Someone's saying that How to Pulse just deleted a tweet. Really? I just posted it. I just posted the tweet. Oh, wow. Okay, it's been deleted. What? What's going on there? They just deleted it. Are you kidding me? What? What? It does seem to be deleted. That tweet seems to be deleted. So once again, make sure that you use How to Pulse. Go to How to Pulse to do that. I'm not sure why they deleted that tweet. But howtopulse.com is the official site. So always use the official links. Always double check the links just in case. But that's a bit weird. That's very weird indeed. Not sure what's happening there. We'll try and find out what happened there. I've got to wrap up the show. So we're going to wrap up here. These are the last two comments. I would claim your wait tokens as soon as possible if you're waiting, not financial advice, just saying we're close, says Cape Figure. So there we are. The claim is only possible till RH give the start date for Pulsechain, says Danny. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, we are getting closer, but hey, look, it could be a couple of weeks, could be still 2-3 months, could still be in my June timeframe. We'll see. But definitely you can claim it any time. All right. Should we wrap up? Hey, Kate Figure, stop making comments. I gotta stop. I've got to stop the live stream. I gotta stop the live stream. We will not start date, in my honourable opinion. Okay, cool. I'm not waiting, says Sandy Beach. You were always waiting, Sandy, and now you're not waiting. So Sandy's changed her tune. I'm not waiting, says Sandy. All right, take care, everybody. I will catch you guys later in the day for the Pulsechain Testnet V3 for beginners, I guess we'll call it, or something like that. Hope you guys have a great day. It's good times, man. Hex price at the moment, 10.67 cents. Get into our Discord if you want to have a chat in the audio chat. People have been really enjoying that. You can get in there and chat with everybody else. Really is a good place as well. Harvey says rugged. Rug just says Harvey. Yeah. Cape says lol. Sorry, man. That's all good, Cape. All right. Now, that's the last comment. All right. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Get into our Discord. It is free. We have the best community and the best information site for all of PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex. Get in there. We've got everything, man. It's an awesome place to be. All right. Take care.